The Obama administration's position on gay people serving in the military is that they should be allowed to serve. The process of getting rid of Bill Clinton's disastrous don't ask, don't tell policy, however, is always presented as some sort of hellish Gordian knot that takes something far more time-consuming and delicate than just political leadership to cut through. Since the policy is now stuck in the Senate, I today asked the vice president if he's using his 36 years of Senate experience to try to finish this thing off. Let me ask you about fighting on an issue that has been a thorny political one, and that is don't ask, don't tell. The administration very firm in its stance that don't ask, don't tell should be repealed. Are you personally involved in trying to get it past the Senate next week in that defense authorization?
Absolutely. I was personally involved in getting it out of committee. Look, I don't only think we should repeal it. I think everyone who was fired should be able to be reinstated if they wanted to. I just think that, look, there's 20 nations in the world that are our allies that allow openly gay and lesbian people to be able to function. I mean, here we have fired hundreds of translators when we're out there trying to figure out how in God's name to find enough people that speak everything from Farsi to Urdu to, I mean, this is absolutely mindless what we're doing. We're going to get a chance. I think we have the votes when it comes up in the defense authorization bill. I know this sounds like this is Senate speak. I apologize. There's going to be a vote on a bill authorizing spending for the Defense Department. In that bill, there is a provision to repeal don't ask, don't tell. End it. Bury it. Now, the Republicans are going to introduce at some point an amendment to strike it from the bill. We've got the votes to defeat that. We got the votes to defeat that. Then the Republicans, if they are as foolish as I think they may be, then they may try to hold up the defense authorization bill. And they're going to probably filibuster that. I believe that at that point, the issue is, are these guys so out there that they're willing to punish the Defense Department and the fighting women and men who we have in Afghanistan, which you just visited, Iraq? I mean, that's the frame. But we have enough votes to sustain support for repealing don't ask, don't vote, and we're just going to push it as hard as we can.
In terms of the timing of that, if that goes, as you say, it's possible that it could go. If that repeal happens, the timing is that the Defense Department is studying the issue through December. They've got another, I think, 60 days or something that after which they would have to delay any repeal process. So we'd be looking at best case scenario for repeal would be sometime in the spring. With the policy under such intense scrutiny, that study underway at the Defense Department, progress being made both in the courts and politically, why not suspend the discharges of people under the policy now, pending that Defense Department review? Why keep kicking people out now while all of this movement is happening toward ending the policy?
Because that is the compromise we basically had to make to get the votes to finally repeal it. In other words, everybody's looking for, in my view, if I could just wave a wand, it would just be flat repeal. No one else would be able to suspend it, and everyone suspended would be able to come back if they wanted to. But the truth of the matter is, we had to build a consensus for this. Working very hard on the telephone, calling people, telling them, and everybody's looking for the orderly elimination of this law. I would prefer it not be orderly. I'd prefer it just end. Boom. Done. But that's why that hasn't happened. It's resulted in us getting over 55 votes, I think we'll get 55 votes, to flat repeal it. And to send a statement to the country and to all the world that the majority of the elected members of the United States Congress and the President and Vice President of the United States think this is a bad policy. That's why it's played out through the legislative process the way it has.
Vice President Joe Biden detailing his own day-to-day work to try to end don't ask, don't tell, saying that the process of kicking people out of the military while the policy is studied is not on the table, though, because of realpolitik, compromise to try to get it repealed someday once and for all, hoping that the Republicans don't filibuster the defense bill for it. On tomorrow's show, the Vice President on why U.S. troops in combat conditions in Iraq aren't described technically as on a combat mission now, and what the U.S. still plans to do in Iraq before we leave there.
Nothing easy about it. But we're bringing those kids home, including my son.
More of my exclusive interview with Vice President Joe Biden tomorrow night.